Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Rolex Oysterquartz Day-Date. You can see this 18-karat white gold reference 19019 on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time to see our full listing for this watch, with additional high-resolution images and, of course, complete pricing details. There's also a link to our website in the description field below. Now, on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that the Oysterquartz case with integrated bracelet has a very different wrist presence than the conventional 36mm Day-Date. It's broader, it spreads its mass more evenly, and with the integration of the 70s inspired bracelet, very Gerald Genta-esque, it actually looks and wears far larger than 36mm. Think 40mm sports watch and you have the general gist. Now, in terms of thickness, 12.5mm is quite slim, especially with the generously sloped, faceted white gold bezel that allows a tight sleeve or dress cuff to really ride up and over the flank. So as a dress watch, this timepiece still succeeds in every sense, especially since 42mm from extremity of lug to extremity of lug, it actually isn't quite as broad across the wrist as the outermost extremities of a 36mm conventional Rolex Day-Date. Now, what it does have is a completely different heft to it, because in total, the cushion case of the Oysterquartz is more massive than the equivalent 36mm Day-Date. It also has this integrated bracelet, which was unique to the Oysterquartz and their predecessor mechanical watches, the reference 1530 and 1630. So this is not a look you see often in the Rolex catalog. Now, historically, the round oyster-style cases were distinct from their bracelets and their straps. But in the 70s, again, Gerald Genta set the pace. The integration of cushion case into bracelet became an enduring style, and Rolex actually played its part in the trend with the Oysterquartz family. So you can see that the bracelet on this one, with contrasting polished and satin links, beautiful contrast, in fact, is neither fish nor fowl. It's not the President bracelet often associated with the Day-Date, nor is it the 3-link oyster style. What it is completely exclusive to the model. Now, what it does is beautifully set off the polished segments against the satin. You can see the contrast is superb. In spite of the fact that it doesn't resort to any kind of two-tone approach, there is outstanding visual articulation and contrast, compounded by the polished flanks of the bracelet. Now, it tapers beautifully to a very substantial white gold single-fold deployant. It does retain one of the signature features of the President bracelet, which is the crown clasp, the 5-point coronet acting as a discrete partition point for the bracelet. Now, it looks and feels like a bracelet on the wrist, but when you get into the dial itself, you realize that it is classic Rolex Day-Date. What you see is a beautiful silver sunburst, and you can see the light dancing across its radial grain as I move it through the soft light of my light box. It also has beautiful applied indices, completely untarnished, as are the hands at center. Now, there are very subtle dots of original tritium luminescent material on this tritium dial, and they've faded just enough that they've actually taken on the same tone as the silver dial. Likewise, there are swatches on the minute and hour hand. So the tritium patina is present, subtle, but beautiful. You can also see that all of the printing of this example is in superb condition. This watch has a very original appearance to it. Everything about it looks as it would have in late 1980 or early 1981, when this roughly 6.5 million serial number Oysterquartz Day-Date was manufactured. Now, it's important to note that although the dial has all of the functional features of the classic Day-Date, this watch, being an Oysterquartz, goes just a little bit further. Now, the Oysterquartz was built for about a quarter century, during which only about 25,000 examples of the Day-Date and the Datejust Oysterquartz were made. That means roughly 1,000 watches per year, of which most were in yellow gold and most were the Datejust, which tells you that this white gold Day-Date is an exceptionally rare piece. Think about 1,000 watches a year, of which this was the minority portion, and now compare that to Rolex's contemporary production of almost 1 million watches per year. You really get a sense of just how uncommon and exceptional this watch is. And I'm also very pleased to say that not only is it a different looking watch and a different watch in light of Rolex's general production, but it is a beautiful and beautifully different watch inside as well. The caliber 5055 Day-Date Oysterquartz caliber is one of the finest quartz movements ever made. Built to last a lifetime, the fact that this watch features a movement older than me is testament to Rolex's over-engineered approach to building this movement. In fact, it is mostly mechanical watchmaking inside. It has a pallet fork, it has an escape wheel, it has 11 jewels, it is assembled, tuned, lubricated by a watchmaker and designed to last as long as the watch. Now, not only is it mostly mechanical watchmaking inside, and you can see the locking and unlocking of that traditional Swiss lever escapement propelled by the stepper motor, but controlled by a lever and escape wheel, produces a very defined stop and start to the seconds hand. It also produces a very pronounced and audible tick and tock when you listen to the watch. So though it is quartz, it has a strong traditional mechanical heartbeat when you hold it up to your ear. It's also thermocompensated and anti-magnetic. Very few Swiss quartz movements are chronometer certified. Of those, even fewer are thermocompensated, which means that the watch has a separate integrated circuit that effectively cancels out the variation of the quartz oscillator caused by changing temperature. Thermocompensated, it remains just as accurate as a quartz chronometer, whether it's cold or hot, and it has impressive anti-magnetic properties. Now, on a mechanical watch, anti-magnetism serves to avoid magnetizing the hairspring that controls the heartbeat of the watch. In a quartz watch, anti-magnetic properties help to prevent the depolarization of the permanent magnets of the stepper motor. This is a special piece, and if you want to know just how special, consider this. Over the course of a year, the worst deviation you can expect from this quartz chronometer would be approximately negative 24 seconds or plus 60. That's what a thermocompensated Rolex quartz chronometer is. This watch is special in every way. It's a unique take on quartz mechanically. It's a superb take on chronometry in terms of engineering. It's a beautiful and different take on Rolex design, and because of the unique position of the watch in Rolex's historic catalog and the comparatively few made, it's an exceptionally rare timepiece. If you own this reference 19019, you will have the only white gold Rolex Oysterquartz Day-Date in your office. And you'll be more fortunate for it because, quite frankly, everyone wants to have a Rolex, but what would it mean to have the one that no one else has? Own this Oysterquartz Day-Date and you can find out on our website, watchyouwant.com.